Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So I am on a time crunch, as usual. Before I leave home, I want to give you some food for thought. I want to point out a few things to you guys. So for the United States, between January 24th, 2022, all the way to June 31st of 2023, has given $46.6 billion in goods and money and military support, including grants, to the Ukraine. We have given $26.4 billion in financial aid, as in 0% interest and money, cash money. We have also given $3.9 billion in humanitarian aid. The Samaritan's Purse, donor restricted funds to the Ukraine in 2022 equals $129 million. Without donor restriction aid, $34 million. I looked up the Red Cross and the Salvation Army, and neither of them posted how much they have given in funds. But I'm going to put a picture right here to show you how many little spots they have in the Ukraine. When I think of the Ukraine, I think of cash cow. I think of money laundering, and I connect in our big nonprofits with that. And I'm going to prove to you what I'm saying. Nonprofits have basically been taken over by the federal government. Now just listen to me. January 21st, 2021, President Biden signed an executive order including anyone in the LGBTQ group protected from discrimination, which means transgender, gay, sexual, all of it. It's protected, okay? In that same civil rights order. What that means is if you receive any federal money, grants, loans, or aid to your organization, business, whether that is foundational, nonprofit, small business, you are held to the Non-Discriminatory Act. Here is a picture proving it. Why am I telling you all this? I want you to understand that this book, The Revolution Will Not Be Funded, is basically a book that was written about how nonprofits are used to take over social movements and curtail them, keep us in line, keep us following their narrative, because nonprofits are basically funded from the federal government and from foundational money. Now, a foundation is different than a nonprofit. Foundations are normally set up by corporations or very rich families. And they do that to keep their money from being taxed. Okay? So they set up a foundation where they set themselves and their family members as the head of the foundation, and they funnel their money through their foundation. Now, foundations began supporting nonprofits early in the game because foundations realized we can literally shape America and the world through these think tanks. Now, something I find very, very interesting, so I want to share it with you, if I can get there. Prior to the Civil War, individuals, not organizations, did most charity work. However, in the face of accelerating industrialization and accompanying social ills such as disease, poverty, community breakdown, violence, local organizations, these charities focused on individual poverty rather than the poverty of systematic level. Charities did not campaign for higher wages, for instance, but worked to support those that were on low wages. As this charity movement spread, local charity organizations began to organize on a national level. In 1874, members of private charity organizations, religious agencies, and public officials from several northeastern states established the National Conference of Charities and Corrections, later renamed the National Conference on Social Welfare. You guys, this is why I think it is so offensive that the senator out of Hawaii is pushing to hold people that fundraise accountable and put criminal charges against them. Because, and I'm going to tell you why, anybody that accepts money from the federal government in the form of grants will be forced to allow any nonsense to go on. They have to support the LGBTQB whatever thought processes, okay? I put a clip about the pastor talking about that earlier this morning. I was getting you to start thinking, to open up this topic that we're talking about right now. I used to write federal grants on my form to help me stay debt-free and move in this innovative way of forming that I want to do. I had to stop because I'm not going to ask you your preferred pronouns on my private property. I'm not. I don't care what they are. We're here to form. We are not here to discuss sex. And because of President Biden signing that executive order in January 21 of 21, I can no longer write federal grants because I literally could be fined, jailed, and lose everything I have because I won't play along with their nonsense. It goes against my religious beliefs. This is how they take over social movements. This is how they took over Black Lives Matter. I don't think it was ever intended to turn into what it ended up being. But because they opened up a 501c and foundations began pouring money into them, they turned into something totally different, I think, than the founders ever wanted it to be. Okay? It became a group that segregated instead of pulling us together. All right? And I want to say that all three, Samaritan's Purse, Red Cross, Salvation Army, all of them accept federal funds. So they may claim to preach the gospel of Christ, but they can't preach against homosexuality or transgenderism or even abortion or even the vaccine because they will lose funding to their huge nonprofit organizations they have been taken over from their original purposes. That is the point of this video. God bless you. We will deep dive into this book as the coming months and weeks, but I just want you guys to understand, you and I will fund the revolution. Not the nonprofits, not the grants, not the government. So hold on to your money. Be careful who you send it to. Because even though you have a knee-jerk reaction to, well, yeah, the Salvation Army is wonderful. Red Cross is great. I love the Samaritan's Purse. You need to dig into their financial records and really see who is funding them. Because he who funds them is he who sets the tone to what that organization actually is. God bless you. Please like, comment, and subscribe.